All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the biggest, most important shifts happening in AI architecture right now, something called mixture of experts. We're going to see how this completely changes the game for prompting, turning what you thought was just a simple question into a direct command for a whole committee of digital specialists. Okay, let's do this.
So let's start with a really powerful question. We all kind of think of a large language model as this one single giant brain, right? But what if that's not true anymore? What if when you write a prompt, you're not just asking a question, but you're actually deciding which part of the AI's brain gets to wake up and answer it? And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. This is exactly how today's most advanced models are working.
And that brings us to the core idea here. Instead of one huge generalist brain that's trying to be good at everything, the new way of building these things is, well, it's more like a super efficient team of specialists. Just imagine having an expert on standby for math, another one for creative writing, and another one just for code.
This new architecture is called Mixture of Experts, or MO for short, and at its heart, it's a system built from these specialized subnetworks, these so-called experts. Now here is the absolutely crucial part. For any prompt you write, the AI only wakes up the most relevant experts. The rest? They just stay dormant, saving a mind-boggling amount of energy. This is what's making trillion-parameter models actually possible.
This slide just nails the difference. The older, dense models like GPT-3 were insanely expensive because they had to fire up all of their parameters for every single token. It's literally like making your entire company, finance, HR, marketing, all of them, sit in on every single meeting, no matter how irrelevant. MOE models, on the other hand, are sparse. They're smart. They only call on the specialists they actually need. This is a total game changer for building these massive new models without needing a planet-sized power plant to run them.
Okay, so the big question is, how does the model know which specialists to call into the meeting? Well, that's the job of a really clever little component inside. Think of it like a traffic director for the whole system. Let's see how it works.
It all breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, when your prompt comes in, this lightweight network called a router takes a look. And this thing isn't just a dumb switch. It's a small neural net itself that's been trained to get incredibly good at guessing which experts will be the most helpful. Then, based on that quick analysis, it picks the top few experts for the job, say the top 2 out of 8 available experts in that layer. And finally, the outputs from those chosen experts are all intelligently blended together to create that final polished response you get back.
And listen, this isn't just some theory in a research paper. MOE is already here, and it's powering the biggest models out there. We know for a fact that Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro and Xai's Grok 4 are MOE models. Newcomers like DeepSeek V3 are built on it. Heck, even GPT-5 is widely believed to be an MOE model. This is fast becoming the new standard for how you build a state-of-the-art AI.
Okay, so we've covered the architecture, and we've seen who's using it. But what does this actually mean for us, the people writing the prompts? Well, this is where the game truly changes. Your goal is no longer just to ask a good question. It's to actively wake up the right expert for the job.
This quote from the research really just says it all, because that internal router is making its choices based on the specific words, the tokens, in your prompt. Even tiny little changes in how you phrase something can totally switch which experts get activated. Your skill as a prompter now directly controls which AI specialization you get to use.
So let's be super clear about this. Your prompt has evolved. It's not just a query anymore. It is, literally, a set of routing instructions for the AI's internal network. You are the director now, telling the system which specialist to bring forward. That's a huge mental shift in how we need to think about this. Now, with this new power comes the need for a new set of techniques. So let's get practical. How do you actually write prompts that are optimized for a mixture of experts model? Here's a quick playbook for you.
All right, first up, the do's. You absolutely want to front-load your domain signals. That means starting your prompt with a clear role, like role, senior financial analyst, before you even ask the question. It gives the router a massive clue right up front. Next, use really specific, unambiguous vocabulary. Don't just say, make a chart, say, generate a matplotlib bar chart in Python. The router loves those precise tokens. If you have a complex task, break it up. Don't ask for a Python script that also writes a poem about itself. Do them one at a time so you activate the right expert for each job. If you're using few-shot examples, make sure they are a perfect match for your task. You want JSON, your examples better be in JSON. Be explicit about language and style. Just say, respond in formal Japanese. And finally, if you're using RAG, keep that context clean. Any off-topic stuff can confuse the router, so make sure your documents are super focused.
Now for the flip side. Here's what you've got to stop doing. Don't use vague phrasing or try to be clever. The router can't read your mind. It can't, you know what I mean. You have to be direct. Also, don't bury the lead. No more long, rambling introductions. Put the core task right at the top where the router's paying the most attention. And like we just said, don't mash everything together. Asking for code, a legal analysis, and a creative story all in one go is a recipe for disaster. It'll just activate a confused, messy mix of experts. Clarity and focus are your new best friends here.
So, if you only take one thing away from all of this, let it be this right here. With these new MOE models, writing a better prompt isn't just about getting a slightly more accurate answer. It's about fundamentally activating a more specialized, more capable part of the AI's brain. You are literally tapping into a better expert. And that leaves us with a pretty big final thought, doesn't it? We now know that the clarity of our words, the precision of our prompts, can directly control the kind of specialized intelligence we get to access inside these incredible systems. So the question isn't just, what can an AI do anymore? The real question is, now that you have this control, what will you ask it to solve?